Welcome back to 420 Chief. Today I'm actually on the road at my buddy Scooter's house. I got bored, so I thought, what the fuck, let's drive 30 hours. And then I arrived. And so here I am, and I'm in Scooter's coffee den. So this has been pretty awesome. So what's up, Scooter? How are you?
Good. Even better now after a few days of getting to be able to hang out, chat. It felt really good. Doing well.
Yeah, it's been an interesting time. I got here, and first thing we did really was have that bonfire, huh? Got the dogs acclimated. I did overland on the way here, and I brought Striker and I brought Spike with me, and this was my farthest road trip to date. Because normally I'll head out to the East Coast, or I'll just go down south to Arkansas, Oklahoma, whatever, Kentucky, Tennessee. But this was like a couple day
Yeah.
trip, so that was hard on the dogs. In the car the whole time, so when they got here, they were super excited. And you have three dogs, so they had to get used to each other, and holy shit. So, but yeah, I remember we got here, we dogs got acclimated, had a bit of a bonfire, and really just chilled out. What are your thoughts on that first night?
It was really nice to just chill out. That's exactly what it was. I enjoyed just being able to sit there, relax. Um, and of course, with all the kids coming up, right? So you got here, and the kids were so excited to see you. Um, but knowing you as well as I do, like I was comfortable with the kids just hanging out, you know, goofballs around the fire, but everything was good. It was a really nice chill night.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. It's like we haven't seen each other in person in 12 years. So, it's like we didn't miss a beat, you know. I felt really welcomed and comfortable even. And I gotta say, I was grateful that you gave up her bed so that I could straighten out. My back and hips hurt so much less now, so thank you.
She was so excited too. I sent you the video. As soon as she knew you were going to stay in her room, she was like, I got to get it clean. I was like, well, he's not here till tomorrow. No, I got to do it right now.
Yeah, she did a pretty good job. She left me with every blanket I think she owns on
Yes.
the bed, so I had to some layers to choose from.
Yes. Choice is good.
For sure. But it was cool, man. Like we sat by the fire, we did a little bit of fire smoke music therapy, and I think that night I was kind of more excited just to show you some of my new music because we were just really vibing. And Scooter and I are a lot alike. We both like to like we can feel the music. There's certain songs that just have a vibe to them, and you just it's kind of like it takes you on a journey. It's like art, but without seeing it. You hear it and feel it, and you kind of get to explore with the song. So we kind of were just jamming out, had the kids over, making some s'mores, and I got to go to bed early here, but late back home. So that was really cool.
You got some good sleep. I was hoping you'd get good sleep.
I did.
Um,
Dog slept good too. Let me kind of not really sleep in. I woke up at 4 in the morning,
right.
but I slept in till 6 here, and then I was like wide awake because that's 8 o'clock back home. So
Which is good. 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 You said something about the music and art. I've been focusing on that thought because as we both have, I've noticed, and I know you've noticed with me, I'll forget stuff, right? So, um, feeling the music and then having the conversation with you, that was a very fun experience, especially yesterday in the car coming back. You know, don't want to jump ahead, but that was three different guitars, and I think we had a 20-minute conversation on what your interpretation of what those guitars were saying versus
right.
right what. And I'm like, well, they're talking to each other. I don't know if they're talking. I mean, we just had a wonderful conversation about
Yeah, that was really it for night one. We just kind of chilled out, caught up a little bit, and yeah, I woke up the next morning, went out and had to feed the dogs and water them, had some coffee, and I just kind of was able to take in the sunrise view. His Scooter here has like a natural heart in the trees, right across from his house. And so I was standing out there where he normally waters his cows, and I was able to watch that and have my breakfast. It was really nice. And I can't believe he never noticed that it looks like a heart over there. I'm
Never,
gonna have a picture
never noticed the
right
heart there.
here. Bubble put a picture of it right here. But yes, awesome. Really awesome. It was I don't know, I had some time to reflect out there by myself and hang with the dogs. And then you came out and joined me for coffee. So yeah, excited to start the day. And that was on Friday.
Hmm.
Every day's Friday.
Every day's Friday. We've discovered that. People should not ask us what day of the week it is.
But that was cool. You made I did a plank video. You duetted a plank video with me that day. Um, first thing in the morning, kind of get energized.
Felt good to do that again.
Yeah.
I have to keep up on it. I don't know. I would probably won't post it, but I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I did it.
You did it.
Yep. But I really enjoyed those morning coffees.
Yeah.
You know, um,
Peaceful.
peaceful. And the other thing that we're a lot alike in, and this is what I knew was going to be enjoyable, is when we're just kind of hanging out in the morning. We'll have a conversation, just boom, 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 boom. Then there'll be silence. And it's not like anything needs to be said. It just silence, and it's comfortable.
Yeah.
That's been nice. And sending the pictures of the little strudels. You gotta have the pictures out there.
Baby moo-moos, baby cows for those listeners. But I do remember one thing you were excited that I had brought was some of the space dust.
Yeah.
I've got some I picked it up at a show. I won't say where, but I got these. They're pixie sticks essentially. It's like the sugar flavored pixie sticks, kind of the same dust as in Fun Dip, but it's got the cannabis medicine in it. And this particular batch that I got it puts me to sleep. So you were excited to try that, so we did that by the campfire. And I think you actually took your nighttime gummies, didn't you?
I did.
That night?
Yep. Because I wasn't 100% sure. I was super excited to try those. We'd talked about them. Nobody here's ever heard of it.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those, oh, yeah, you got that. But no, I'd already taken my nighttime gummy so that I could get ready for bed. One of the hardest things I have is sleeping.
Right.
I don't sleep. But that was awesome. I definitely gonna have to figure out how to do more of that.
Yeah, that one hit me too, and I think that kind of helped me get right to sleep. I mean, I did have the long drive. I did some overlanding. I got a few hours of sleep a night, but man, that hit, and I was feeling so good. I was ready to go to bed.
Yes.
And I didn't wake up too groggy. I got up and I was able, I mean, had coffee, and Scooter makes coffee pretty strong. We are sailors, so there's that. So we were drinking our swill coffee, grog, whatever. And I don't even remember, what did we do to kick off Friday after we did our duet video? I remember didn't we go into town?
Nope, not Friday. We didn't. I don't
We
think
did not leave at all?
we didn't leave at all on Friday.
Damn!
Yeah, no, we went nowhere on Friday. Um, honestly, Friday was just, you asked if there was anything, and I said no. Friday, I had anticipated was just kind of a chill day. You were going to have a lot of driving. I know how that feels, back, leg, everything else. So, yeah, we never left. The biggest change we did on Friday was we moved our chairs from the front to the back.
Yeah, that's right. We just kind of chatted it up. We just chatted it up. And it was fun because it's one thing, we meet in groups and stuff online or with people like at a VFW and you tell your war stories, but it's different when Scooter and I were actually mobilized together in the Navy, and it was an amazing mobilization, a lot of great people, and it was fun to kind of like talk about that, reminisce a bit, and it was interesting for me because I think I had forgotten about a lot of our deployment together, our mobilization together, and even some of the people. And talking with you kind of helped put that whole story back together but not only that, but like now that we've had this much time, this is 12 years since we were mobilized. Um 12, 13, right? Yeah. And so we've both grown, we've had a lot more life experience if we had more time to reflect on, everything during even that time and everything since then and how different it is now. And so I think us meeting up and being able to talk through some of that was really cool. And it opened up some things for me, some things that I had forgotten and just a lot, you know. So it was really a positive experience to reflect on and talk about it. Because any issues or bullshit, we can talk through that. And that's, therapy in itself.
Yeah.
But
And I had the same thing. I mean, there were things that you talked about or people that you talked about that once you talked about it, I remembered. But either it didn't, it wasn't, and I don't say it in a negative way either. There wasn't that big of an impact to me personally. I mean, that's just it. We both have our views of what we saw. Um, but having those extra pieces tied into the things I remembered. So the one that I still can't believe, I know you were there, and Ozzy's going to be able to remind you, is that 203 flare. I know you were there.
on the boats,
Yep.
I remember it in Camp Pendleton.
Right.
I don't remember doing it on the boats. I know I had to have been there.
Yeah.
I just don't remember it.
Ozzy, remind him.
Yeah, Ozzy. Hopefully, I get to see Ozzy on my way out. I'm gonna head out tomorrow. I plan to do some overlanding back in Washington State, and then where I'd stayed on my way here, and then from there, I think hopefully, I can meet up with him for like a lunch on Tuesday, and from there, I'm gonna head into I think Colorado. That state is just phenomenal, and I've got to say Washington and Montana and even Idaho. All three just beautiful. For me, coming from the Midwest and being raised there, this is almost like another planet. The terrain is completely different. Weather, not so much, especially it's been chilly since I've been here, so I'm kind of used to that in Missouri. But it's funny that I'm here and it's cold. In Missouri, it's like record highs. So I brought I brought the cold. But yeah, totally different terrain. Beautiful views. I love the way the rivers look here. And it's something I've talked about with you and I think your daughter. Like where I'm from, the rivers all have pretty steep banks or whatever. Here it looks like just in a portrait, like it seems like it's just level with the land and perfect and flowing through. Where I'm from, that shit would be flooding everything if it was that level. So it doesn't even look real. It just looks like a Bob Ross out there.
And what is it that you want to do if you make another trip back out? I think this is awesome. If you do it, I want to be there.
Oh man, yeah. The first thing that popped into my mind when I got into actually Montana and looked at the base of one of the mountains, and there's just a river, and I was able to follow that fucking river forever. So I was like, I would love to just find a empty parking lot, park, throw the kayak in, and just see where the fuck it takes me, and just go, because it seems like those things go on forever.
I mean, they're super long, but I just when you said that, I was like, man, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. It'd be super amazing. I like to, like overland. I like to hike, like primitive hike. I'll hike, camp, hike. And I would really like to do like I kayak. I'd like to do some dispersed kayaking and do something like that. And I think that this would be like the most beautiful place.
Yeah.
Like Missouri's cool. They do one from Kansas City to St. Louis, but I'm gonna be honest, it's not this beautiful.
Yeah.
No, totally different. It's very extraterrestrial to me.
As long as it's enjoyable,
For sure.
that's key. So yeah, Friday was a lot of hang out, catch up, you know, fill in the blanks that we're missing. Um,
One thing I wanted to talk about is I did get you to try some flour because I know that you had mentioned previously that anytime you smoked weed flour, that you would get real bad anxiety.
really bad.
I remember, um, what strain did I start you off with? You took one hit. It's like a moonshine or
No,
Obama Runts.
I think it was the Obama runts.
Obama Runts. 'Cause that I have a pretty top quality strain of that stuff. And so I rolled up a joint and Scooter took a little bitty hit off of that. And how was your anxiety from that? Do you remember the feel that you got off of that?
Not, I don't think not a whole lot in the beginning because I was almost waiting and anticipating the anxiety because that's what I'm used to. That's what I get, and then after that, it would kind of calm down. Um, so I think I was preparing for that really heavy, and then I almost bypassed that phase, and it became just chill, and I kind of zoned out, and you notice it really quickly, but you're so good at talking at, I want to say not necessarily at the right time. That sounds kind of fucked up, but it's true. I'd be sitting there just completely wiped out, and you would be kind of quiet, and then you'd start a conversation, and it's like you could draw me from where I was back into the conversation, and so it was. I enjoyed the hell out of that.
And I think I'd like to talk about that, but I'll cover that in after we talk about Saturday, because Saturday night was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I think that was really it. Friday, we just kind of chatted it up. We smoked a little bit. I didn't have any gummies. You had your gummies.
yeah.
And you want to explain that, like what you take? You have a daytime and a nighttime. Do you want to explain that for anybody who hasn't heard what how you're using those?
So I take a nighttime gummy in its entirety, and I was on Ambien. It's the only way I could fall asleep and then even stay asleep. So I do a whole gummy, and it's more. It's got some THC, but it's got a lot of the CBD and CBN, and that does help with the sleep without the grogginess the next day of an actual sleeping pill. So that's my nighttime. During the day, I was maxing out on citalopram, and so I was hoping to find something that would draw back. And what I have is a gummy that's more of a daytime, is what they had told me, um, strain. And then there's the CBD and CBC that's in that. And that kind of helps clear the mind. But during the day, I want to make sure that I've got, I don't know, I need it for the medicinal purpose. And so I cut it in fourths. And I take a fourth in the morning and then a fourth kind of, I don't know, lunchtime. I can feel it actually when I start to get that feeling again, that the anxiety or the depression is kind of kicking a little bit, and so I'll know. I almost use my body as a judge. Um, do I need to go take a fourth now? Whatever. But I've discovered I can do a lot more. I feel a lot better, better relationships, easier to talk even through some very difficult topics just by knowing I have this ability.
Yeah, and I actually witnessed that myself because um, your daughter is 6.
She's a granddaughter, but uh, she calls me dad, and her Mima is mom. But yeah, she's 6, well, 6.5.
And yeah, so as you can imagine, 6 years old, she can test your patience, and you handle that very well. Like you don't snap, if she's crying or screaming or throwing her shoes or hitting on you, you kind of just come here, you bring her in, and you give her love rather than how some people would respond. Like I know I would have without, when I was drinking and stuff, like with like, holy shit, like gets me triggered, and then I want to go, hey, knock it off or don't be loud, whatever, but you handle it really well, and then with all the kids and the dogs, lots of stimulation going on, you stay very calm, you know. So I applaud you on that. You do it really good, and that seems to really help. I saw it myself, so
I appreciate that a lot. And it resonates coming from you. We have traveled similar roads, even outside of the Navy. Um, but you mentioned it right there, and my kids unfortunately can tell you that you know when it was drinking, it was more, I couldn't handle that. I left or they got quiet.
and that's a huge thing, man. I noticed a huge change in my relationship with my children from when I was drinking. I was still a functional parent, and I was still loved them, but the way that I responded, the way that I spoke to them compared to now is completely different. I feel more patient. I feel more prepared in my responses. Um, and yeah, it definitely certainly helps calm things down. And it's funny, like we'd even talked about, like if I start to get a little bit cranky, sometimes my kids will be like, "Dad, go hit your Zen pen." You know, it's like calm down a little bit.
And I because of our topics, that was one. What was most interesting, we just had that conversation maybe an hour ago, and that is such a better thing, even sounding out loud, than what I told you I was told by my kids, my spouse. People, you should go take another pill.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like being all the way at the max of the citalopram, so I'd cut back. And the minute I wasn't, I guess, easy going, you should go take another pill. I don't think you should be cutting back like that. So, and
Or he's off his meds,
yep,
kind of shit. You
yep, off his meds. Oh shit, you know. So, um, hearing what you had said from your kids, that's a much better thing than the other part of that.
Yeah, for some, and we all do what works for us, but I think it's important to try things that are healthier alternatives. But we'll wrap it up with on Friday night. And I remember got up Saturday. I actually slept in a little bit later. You did a duet with me Saturday, but we were really excited because we were heading down to Spokane.
Yes.
And so, anyways, we got up, we got all ready, had our coffee, hopped in the Sea Wagon. I left the dogs here, so this was the first time that I've left Spike or Striker for that long away from the house. So I was a little bit at first, I was like, oh no. But I told Striker to stay and watch it, so there was that. And anyways, I needed to get a haircut, so Scooter took me to get my haircut. Fucking almost balded me. But anyways, man, went from there. We went over to Cannabis and Glass. And it was really cool because Heather was on her lunch break when we had arrived, and I hadn't met Heather yet in person. So Scooter recognized her and was talking to her at her vehicle. I was grabbing some books and some T-shirts, and we got introduced to her in the parking lot, and that was really cool. We had some great conversation. We got to know a little bit more about her and what's important to her as far as the medicinal cannabis. And then she took us in, and I got to check out the store. And it seemed like they weren't busy. Then we got there, and then everybody started to come in.
Chief arrived.
Chief, ding ding, stinger. Chief arrived. No, but so we didn't get to talk with Summer right off the bat, but Heather was very knowledgeable, very helpful, and it was really nice to talk, with her as a bud tender about because she could tell, like what I like, what I don't like, and she was fast with recommendations for the effects that we were looking for, and she really cared, took her time, and the pricing there was actually really good. It was really good, but we got quite a bit of goodies while we were there. I had to pick up some Blue Dream. That's one of my favorites medicinally. It's a good sativa. It really, I don't know, keeps me kind of focused. It gives me a little bit of energy. Doesn't put me down at all. Um, Not bad, not bad. Put it in my air pipe. Blasted a bowl before this interview, actually.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, what else did you get over there? Let's go through what your toys.
So I got a new kind of gummy, which we both got a chance to try those.
Tangerine?
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad flavor.
Um, and then I got my standard. I should have brought them out here. I'll send you a picture of them. So wild gummies, and the nighttime is the THC, CBD, and CBN, and then the daytime is the blood orange, I believe it is, and it is a THC, CBD, CBC. Learned a lot of that from Dr. Judd watching your episode with him. Did a little bit more research.
For those who don't know what he's talking about, check that episode out. Dr. Judd covered a lot of great topics, especially as far as like when people say they had a bad high or had too much anxiety, that CBD and the CBCs can kind of help balance that out so that you don't shock your system and just, go into full blown anxiety or panic. There's actually a little bit of balance and a proper way to take your medication instead of just trying to get fucking high or too high, because that can happen, and that can cause negative effects. And I think that's the problem a lot of people have. They don't know that. So if you didn't check that episode out, check it out. Lots of great information. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Um, so I got the two mainstays because I know those work. So while I see if there's anything else, I want to make sure I have what works. Um, and then I had to get a bag of the mint chocolate. I haven't tried any of that. It was really good.
Yeah, those mint chocolates are delicious. You didn't taste any THC in those. Like, it almost tasted like an Andes.
Yeah,
A little bit.
that would
Because it
be
was a pretty
really
quality
good.
chocolate, actually. I'm excited. I haven't tried them yet, but I got some mocha chocolate and sativa, and then I got dark chocolate indica. So I'm excited to give them a shot.
That'd be good.
Yep.
I actually had forgotten you grabbed those.
Yep. I got those. I got two vapes, a new battery because I usually just use dispos, but Heather made a great recommendation. Shout out. That's pretty good flavor on that. Decent high. I think it's off of an off Pineapple Express. I was trying something different, and I got another really strong sativa, hard sativa. I kind of like that one. Hits me in the head a little bit, but also got a bunch of pre rolls. I like my joints.
Yeah.
Couple infused. A couple of them are the dog walkers. Those real short joints.
When you first said dog walker, it took. Oh my god, is that a strain or?
Like you go outside in the morning to take your dog to take a shit, and so you got time to smoke one of those little bitty.
Quick one.
You don't need help on it. You don't have to puff, puff, pass. You can just like puff, 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 puff. It's out.
It's out.
Done. And then, Lassie.
I know I brought you. Where are you?
So yeah, that was cool hanging out. I gotta meet them. Got to give them a couple of the books, Strains for Pains, a couple of T-shirts, just to help raise awareness for breaking, the stigma of cannabis. Because there's so many stigmas behind that. I've talked about that all the time. I don't even think we need to. I think everybody already knows there's stigmas behind it. I'll just sit out here and be living proof that shit's stupid.
Right.
But yeah, we had an amazing. It was a really beautiful trip home. Um, I love the state. Like I said, there's a lake. There's a river, lake, river. So it goes river, turns into a lake, turns into a river. Beautiful. You get to take a ferry across there. I absolutely love that. I went twice, so I'm an expert now. I ride in a ferry, easy. Um, but yeah, on that ride back, Scooter had kind of mentioned earlier. We were listening to a bunch of music. We were feeling it. We had some conversation, and it was just a really amazing time because we get into the music and then the scenery just paired with that, just soothing, therapeutic.
It was very much so. I'm gonna go backwards a little bit because this is where
Oh shit!
So
Take
when
me
we
back.
left, we made a stop, and if you don't follow Chief on, I think it's TikTok is where that pretty much goes, but yeah, uh, the push-ups and the filling your cup. We stopped at my family cemetery, and
Oh yeah, how could I skip that? I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah, we crossed, so we did the ferry, we went right over into the cemetery, and this is not like a normal cemetery like that's big. This is like an old, like a family cemetery. Like it's all right there. People probably volunteer to mow and keep it cleaned up. And actually, his Scooter's family actually donated to have the memorial built because it's a veteran memorial there at the family cemetery. And then yeah, we stopped there, and you showed me. We got to see some the headstones of some of your family. Yeah, that was really cool. The history behind that. I think I saw back to 1857
yeah,
on Martin. I want to say, yeah.
and then the that mindfulness sitting there at the memorial and the push-ups that you did, I thought was phenomenal. I mean, for me and my grandfather, he picked the rock that's there, but for him, it was all about Raleigh Fisk, killed on the beaches of Normandy. Um, Tiny little community. I mean, you saw that. There's 3 stones and there's tons of room. Um, Tiny little community, and for Raleigh Fisk to have made that ultimate sacrifice for my grandfather, who really didn't even want to be recognized.
It said, I mean, you told me that, and then they just put it right on there. Who paid for all this? Or like,
Cheery,
yeah,
benefactor, whatever that is. Yeah,
called him right out anyways.
yep. And I was like, that's the one thing he wouldn't like. He didn't like that attention. He just wanted to do it, and it was there. Um, but yeah, that started that trip for me.
And you
Because it
know,
tied it all in.
it was a vibe there. That's such an amazing feeling being there with the family, at that memorial. And I'm glad you brought it up. I do a daily TikTok video where I'll do 24 push-ups for 2024, and then I do slow down, slow up on number 22 to, you know, recognize and raise awareness for the veteran suicide crisis. And I actually had this shirt made for that. I'm actually going to send these out. I actually already sent some out to some other folks on TikTok that do 22 push-ups a day. And any money I make, I'm just going to send them to more and more people. Because on the back, I don't know if I can do this on camera. I could have just said have Bub put a picture of the back on there, but it kind of says 22 raising awareness for the veteran suicide crisis, and people can look into that and realize that it's much higher than 22, but yet it's still a crisis, and so that's what we're trying to bring awareness.
Is it was for the most part Vietnam vets, and my dad is a Vietnam vet.
Well, if you think about that, I mean, we can touch on it. Like they left out a couple of states, but then it's hard to put a number on, like myself when I was drinking hard and driving every day, had something happen to me, I wouldn't have been a part of that, but that's exactly what the fuck that was.
Exactly.
That's exactly what that was. And there's so many folks that, um, you, I don't know. I don't even want to go there. You're right. But it's something that needs to be out. Like people need to be aware of it, and we need to find more ways to help, essentially. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's really what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to um, demonstrate a healthier way of life. And um, much love, all my brothers and sisters out there, just trying to spread the love and raise awareness.
I look at. I'm not good at this. I don't do it very often.
Yeah.
But for that, you know,
Yeah, that's a great point. So we stopped, and I was able to see your grandson's plot, and that's another small area in the cemetery. It was nice. There's a bench there where you're able to sit, and it's very pretty and peaceful. But just what a vibe! What a beautiful place.
I appreciate that. And that, like I said, it's kind of interesting when I think about it now, and it literally just hit. Is every night when I go to bed, and regardless of anything we've done, my routine has not changed in months and months and months and months, and it's something that you helped me get started on, and that's my meditation. What's interesting to me is a lot of the things that come up, even some of what we did here today for being able to record this. I will see things the night before when I'm sleeping. And I had no intention, just because I thought, well, it wouldn't be super interesting, of going to the cemetery. And the night before we went, in my mind, I wasn't fully asleep, but I saw it like, no, he would appreciate that. He would definitely appreciate that.
Sounds to me like you manifested the hell out of that, and I'm glad you did. That was a great experience, and I'm glad you brought it up. We did take a mindful minute while we were there. We did the push-ups. You were beside me on that one, huh? Push-ups and planks, and you really do feel it. Like when you think about it and you dedicate your time and your thoughts, there's something to that. And then we were able to sit there. I like to do, in the video I do what? Breathe, relax, smile. And I like to every day I'll take just a few minutes and sit down and then just take a few breaths and get a mindful minute, you know. and afterwards smile, even if it has to be fake. Usually it's not too hard to smile
Yeah.
after you've taken a few breaths and you kind of centered yourself and balanced it back out. But I'm glad to hear that you're able to start. You're starting to see things and manifest them, make them happen. If you can see it, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, that was awesome. We got a bunch of goodies, and then we got back, and we started just trying them out. And I think I was trying to prove. So at one point, I was like trying to prove to Scooter that you cannot OD. Like I try all the time. I had my vape pens, tried them all. I did. We had a couple of pre rolls. I rolled up a couple of joints, smoked a few bowls. Had some of the Vibe spray. We did all the gummies.
Yeah.
I think we tried a little, dabbled a little bit of all those, and hit the vape pen a little bit more.
Hmm.
Had a little fire music therapy, and I remember look looking over, and you were just in your chair, just smiling, taking it all in. The family was here. You were having a feeling good, huh?
I was feeling very good, very relaxed.
And I want to call out, like, again, Scooter previously gets anxiety from flour, and he had done gummies, and he stole my freaking vape pen and killed it, straight murdered that thing, gone, no juice. But I know he was feeling it, and then he smoked quite a bit with me. We had a couple of pre rolls going around, and then a joint at one point. And how was your anxiety after that?
No, wow, you caught me off guard with that one.
Yeah.
Good job. Um, I didn't really have any.
Yeah.
What's interesting, but it wasn't a thought. So now I'll end up, by the time we talk again for our next episode, I will I'll actually be thinking about that because you asked me the same question today when we had smoked, and my answer was completely different. I don't know what it was. I mean, I was comfortable, but I had to work through the thought of, I'm gonna be a little bit nervous. Oh, I'm gonna be, and then I just kind of let it go. I'm like, with you here, it's just the two of us. Um, that made it comfortable. But it's funny. Today I had that. The night you're talking about, none. Like it never crossed my mind. Hmm.
And what I realized, and I was trying to show you, was akin to like how far you think you can run versus how far you really can run,
Yeah.
pushing your limits and knowing your limits. And in this case, in this setting, in this safe setting, in a controlled environment, you are able to push it and know that you're okay.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of like instead of having the panic and anxiety, you can redirect it in your mind once you get used to it, once you're comfortable. If you go into it a lot of times with that fear, it can connect to that and make it worse, give you anxiety, give you panic attacks. But I think what with the comfort level with where you were at, the music, with the fire, your environment
Mhm.
and the company you're in is highly important to this. But you get more comfortable the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. And the more you realize, wait a minute, I'm still in control of things.
Mhm.
I'm in control of my thoughts. You start to be able to redirect them. And you were in a state that I knew you weren't going to go into a bad place. We started really small, like Dr. Judd would recommend, and you pushed yourself
Mhm.
and you stayed in control of your thoughts. And that's what I was keeping an eye on. Um, but you did very well. You didn't overdose, you didn't get sick,
Yep.
um, but you were able to realize, hold on, I can go farther than I thought with this,
Mhm.
and not just crash out, which we ended up doing again at the end of the night.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought that was really neat. I loved being able to be a part of that for you to experiment with it, and I was able to watch you realize, hold on a second, I'm in control of this, and I saw that go back into today even.
Yeah.
So I thought that I wanted to call that out because environment has so much to do with where you consume your medicine,
Mhm.
your cannabis. You want to be in a safe place, and the vibe is seriously important. The people that are around you, like if it's a high anxiety situation or maybe not a safe situation, whatever the case, that can really fuck it up. So Yeah, we had a good time, good smoke, fire, music therapy.
Yep.
Great talk, brought back memories, reminisced, and then Scooter started fucking laughing. And he started fucking laughing hard, like hard. And so then I started laughing hard, and then my ribs started getting crushed by my obliques. It hurt so bad. And I look at Scooter, and he just started laughing harder. And so I was like, "How? Stop fucking laughing! It hurts so fucking bad." I thought he was trying to break my ribs via laughter.
Good workout. Good
It
workout.
really was, but I think that's a good release, man. Like we had some great laughter. That's the best way to end the night because that was the last thing before bed.
Absolutely.
Just this belly crushing laughter.
What was the best part of that? Because I mean, I'd love to be able.
The best part of that was no idea what was so
Nope.
fucking funny.
None.
To me, it was Scooter's laughter. To Scooter, I'm not sure it was fucking hilarious though.
Whatever it was, because it came and went so fast. And I even thought to myself, I came around the end of your car, and I'm like, I got to tell you something. Fuck, it was gone. It was fucking gone. I just started rolling.
Yeah, but I love that. But that was absolutely therapeutic, even for me. You know, like we sit and we talk with each other. We give each other advice on something, then I reflect on the advice I give and how that helps me even. And it kind of just made opened up my eyes to a lot of things and revelations and just remembering things in general. And it was really good time. And we move into today.
Today, you did the W. You actually did a little W.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to dock you a few points for doing that, but I understand there was things that had to be done. So that was kind of how I think our morning started with, as it always has, coffee, um, just enjoying the peace and having conversation and talking. Um, and then after that, we were gonna go kind of check out the property, grab the Jeep, and I was gonna show you a few places. And then you did your W thing. We got ready to go. Yeah, yeah, your W thing. Are you gonna make me say that four-letter word? Why does today feel like Friday? Because you actually did a little work.
Oh yeah, did a little work. Had to do a little work for the website, which is now published. 420chief.net. Bub, something cool here. Ah. Yeah, I had to a little back and forth with the freelance. Got it published. I had to make a few changes. I'm not a web designer, so that took fucking forever, But yeah, had a little work.
Yeah.
That was cool cruising around the Jeep around the property because Scooter lives on a mountain, Washington State. Reservation. Beautiful. Beautiful place. We got to go into town. I love going into town too here. And Scooter took me by, I don't want to call it a park. It's a community.
It's a community area, so Round Lake. And when I was a kid, um, that's where my grandfather and great grandfather took me, and we would go fishing. So it was pretty cool for me to go there. It's also, we had my grandson's funeral was there, and it's just a bit of a ceremonial place in the community.
And so what did we do yet again? We did a video. We did a meditation, some breathing, some relaxing, some reminiscing, and lots of smiling again. But that place it's hard to describe because it's like a big gazebo, but instead of square, it's circular, and they've got a stage at one end of it. There's concrete pads to the entrance, like an octagon almost. But the roof was my favorite because it's the roof over the top, and then there's a break, and then a second roof.
That's a killer roof, isn't it?
So beautiful, and then the poles on the inside of it, and you can see right through it. But then there's a fucking lake, right outside of there. Beautiful big grass area where I would love to go back and just throw the frisbee with the dogs, and mountains right on the background, right there. Just a beautiful spot, and I can certainly see. Scooter told me to do like graduations, like the school stuff there, like any community big thing, the tribal meetings. He said.
What the yearly powwow for Inchlium is held there. So, yep,
Cool, man. That was a really pretty spot. Really pretty spot for folks on the res.
enjoy it. And now we are back here. Um, son-in-law is getting ready to do a barbecue, so we'll be heading down to the barbecue here, probably before too long. Well, we also have we'll have some time for us. Well, I
Yep.
guess we'll say that this evening.
Yeah, this will be our first evening where we didn't have the kiddos, so
Right.
that'll be really nice. It'd be really cool to chillax. But I want to say thank you very much for having me and being a great host. I felt it's been really laid back and chill and relaxing, and even for not just me but even the dogs. So I appreciate you very much, Scooter. And this is always, like our monthly meetup in person. This is
Yeah.
the best, man. This is the best way to do it is in person. Is there any closing thoughts or anything you would like for the viewers to hear?
There's probably a lot. I'll bet when we get into the next episode, we'll pick up from here and then catch everyone up, on what went on. Um, if I started now, I think we'd be going for quite a bit more. And I want to reflect on some of it. Um, I've just been in the moment, being around you again, the things that we got to talk about, the memories that you triggered for me that added to what I had kind of remembered. Um, Something I really needed, and my biggest fear was because you've always been always always on the go, always on the move. And I'm like, man, between surgery on the leg, screwed up back, don't really like to leave too often anyway. I'm like, man, I hope it's not too boring. And you know what? You look like you really just, hearing you say what you said, that's what you looked like this whole time. You were just chill, laid back, and we went right into that vibe from the moment you pulled in the driveway. It was like no time had passed. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate that we've had this time together.
Absolutely, and I appreciate I was allowed I could be myself.
Yeah.
I like it when I don't have to be, have to leave because I have to be someone else. I'm gonna be me, and so I appreciate that, and it's been amazing. And I think that that's important. I think, anyways, moving forward, we talked a little bit about it. We're trying to break stigmas here. There's lots of them. And the website's out. Check us out, 420chief.net. Check out the book, Strains for Pains. You can get that off the website now as well. Check out our merch from Reckless Creators, all again on the website. Look at Scooter!
Ah, we're ready.
A 3X, baby. Nice.
That is right. And fits comfortably. I just want to say you were absolutely right. So 3X sometimes is too big, sometimes a little bit small. I know I'm varying because I'm trying to watch my diet and stuff too. But again, different conversation. 3X, perfect.
Yep. And as always, lead with change, lead with love. Chief out.